Hey! Are you wanting to try fantasy football this year? Are you being forced to play fantasy football this year and don't want to completely embarrass yourself?
I got you!
This video will be a basic guide on how to do fantasy football. Basically, every single thing an NFL player does on the field is turned into some sort of data point, statistic, or number. But what if we turn those numbers into a game? And that's what we call fantasy football. It's called fantasy because it is just that, your dream team, your fantasy. You're not going to see Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on the same team. But you know what you could see is in the fantasy roster, it's pretty possible. Anything is possible within the confines of your draft pick. Now, before we even get started, I'm not going to be telling you who to draft or what points are worth, what numbers are worth what points. That is something for you to look up later. Now, if you have no idea how football is played or anything like that, I recommend clicking the video that's on the top right corner of the screen right now. It's a basic how-to football guide. So if you're not familiar with NFL positions, it'll tell you, hey, this is what a quarterback does. This is what a receiver does. With all that being said, let's get started! So in a normal fantasy football league, you're mostly dealing with offense, minus one spot for defense, but we'll get into that later. Now, if you remember from earlier, I said basically every single thing an NFL player does on the football field is turned into some statistic or number that is then put on some spreadsheet somewhere. The only points that we really care about are touchdowns, rushing yards, receiving yards, receptions. Now look in your league settings because sometimes they don't like to actually score the receptions, but we'll see. That's just depending on your league. Passing yards and 2-point conversions, interceptions, fumbles, field goals, and sacks. Each of these data points is then assigned a number throughout a real-life NFL game. Now, no two league scoring settings are going to be exactly the same, so I highly recommend you go into your league scoring settings and make sure you are looking at what you're looking at and is correct. So we're going to go down to the positions you're going to be drafting. You're going to be drafting running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, kickers, and defense/special teams. More on them in a minute. Your running backs are going to be tallying up mostly your rushing yards, some receiving yards and receptions, and touchdowns. Receivers and tight ends are going to be getting your receptions, receiving yards, and hardly ever any rushing yards. Kickers will be getting you your field goals and extra points. And depending on how far away the kick is, you get bonus points. And then defense is lumped in together as a whole. So all 22 players will be counted as one, along with special teams, meaning punt and kick returns. These guys are going to be tallying up your sacks, the score. If it's really a bad score difference, you'll get minus points, as well as some punt and return touchdowns. Again, check your scoring settings. Okay, I get that. But now how do I get the players on my team?
We draft!
You're either assigned a pick through last year's standings, a challenge you did with your group, a celebrity cameo that you might have done, or completely random, which is most common. From that assigned pick, we're going to go based off of the order. So it goes 1 through 10. Now, when we get to number 10, this is where things could differentiate. There are two common types of draft sequences. You have linear, where it goes 1 through 10, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it goes back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is how the real NFL does it because there's so many more positions than we're drafting in fantasy, and there's 32 teams, so there's a lot to go around. The most common, and in my opinion, the best, however, is called snake, where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes down until you've made all 15 of your picks. This one is typically fair because now, instead of one becoming a super team, having the best person possible in round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, it goes the best person in round 1 goes to round 1, and then the best person available in round 2 goes to number 10. That way you have a balance throughout the entire draft. It's more fair than that, in my opinion, and it's the most common. So again, you're going to do that for about 15 rounds, and boom, now your lineup is complete. Now, if we look back at this sheet, we have 3 things that I didn't talk about. A flex, FLX stands for flex, a BN, which stands for bench, and an IR, which stands for injury reserve. Your flex is going to be an extra spot, a little bonus spot, free spot, if you will, where you can put an extra tight end, running back, or receiver. Check your settings again, though, because sometimes they'll let you throw in an extra quarterback. The bench is where you put your extra players. Some common reasons you might want to put somebody on the bench as opposed to in your starting lineup would include they're on a bye week. They have a bad matchup. They're ass. They got suspended because they were a bad boy. But more than likely, the reason they're going to be ending up on that bench is because they are hurt, meaning they're not going to play or they're going to have limited attention because of that injury. Now, this is why you have to stay on top of reading injury reports. Most of the time, depending on the app you're using or platform, it'll send you some sort of notification saying, hey, your player went from healthy to questionable if they're going to play, or hey, they went from questionable to out, or out to IR, which we'll get into that in a second, or the other way around. Healthy, or from questionable to healthy, they're going to play. Cool. But it's important you stay on top of that because next thing you know, you wake up one morning, boom, now they're healthy and I didn't have them in my starting lineup. It's happened to me several times. But like I said earlier, you have the injury reserve. So if it's a really bad injury, they'll get put on the injury reserve, which is basically an extra spot on your entire roster. So you can keep that player when they eventually come back from that injury, if they come back from that injury. And it doesn't count against your total on your bench. But you usually only have 1 to 2 injury reserve spots. So use them wisely. 2 tips that kind of work together that I'm going to give you right now. Watch your bye weeks and your same team biases. Me, I know myself. I'm going to end up drafting some Seahawks. If I end up with 5 Seattle Seahawks on my team, come week 11, I'm going to be in trouble. Say the Seahawks just are doing bad. I have invested 5 of my draft picks into the Seahawks. So now let's say you're just having a bad time playing. You need something to switch up. You need to change. There are 2 options for you. You can trade or you can use the waiver wire. We're going to talk about trading first. Trading is basically, hey, I have good player, really good player. You have a lot good player. I give you good player, give me two pretty good players. Okay, awesome. Now sometimes they might not like that. So you gotta take what you can get out of it. This is where you basically have to channel your inner salesman. You have to become a salesman in order to make the deal happen. Don't just trade away your team because they're doing bad and you want to quit. Try. It's always good to just keep trying. And say you have a trade offer on the board that you're not too sure about. There are plenty of online resources you can go and plug in the trade dynamics, and you can get an assessment on if the trade is worth it, or ask a trusted league mate or friend if, hey, this is the trade I have open, do you think I should do it? And they might ask for more context and give you a good answer. And then the waiver wire. Let's say someone who's not on anybody's team goes crazy and they get a whole bunch of yards, whole bunch of points, whole bunch of touchdowns, all that stuff. Then you have to look at your waiver wire settings, because sometimes they're different, and you can get that player on your team. You'll put in a claim for him, and if you get him, you get him. Typically, it's by descending order of like, hey, you did really bad this week. You're number 1 on the waiver wire order. You just got to look in your settings and make sure that is what you're looking at. Now, I'm going to say as a warning, if a player starts a game and they were questionable all week and you wake up and the game has already started and they've already started but they're not playing, sorry, you're stuck. Player's going to get you nothing. You can't do nothing about it. So make sure you always set your lineups at least the day or night before. Fantasy football at the end of the day is a fun game to play while watching the game. Some leagues like to do buy-ins. You know, when you start throwing money in the mix, this is essentially gambling with a little bit of skill. So to that point, I say play responsibly and only buy in what you can afford to lose. If you have any other questions about fantasy football, go ahead and feel free to leave them down in the comments below. If you have no idea what I was talking about, go ahead and click this video and it'll show you how to football. So that being said, check your rules of your league and your scoring settings and set your lineups. Okay, bye!